In Chapter 11, take a look at Congress. Authors of the Constitution believe the bulk of national power should be in the legislature. So the Connecticut Compromise and the Constitution established a balanced legislature. Membership of the House of Representatives based on population. Membership in the Senate based on the equality of the states. Congress has a number of functions. The most important you should know about is lawmaking, process of deciding the legal rules that govern our society. That is the main function of Congress. One of the other functions is representation. Two terms you should know. One is the trustee view of representation. That's when the congressperson acts according to his or her own conscience and the broad interests of society. This person votes for what he or she believes is best for society. The other representation function, instructed delegate. That's when the congressperson votes according to the views of the constituents regardless of his or her own personal beliefs. You also see some other functions, service to constituents. That includes casework. That's where they assist their constituents in getting access to government services. And Congress also has an oversight function. Other functions of Congress, public education, they resolve conflicts, and we also see through the necessary and proper clause from the Constitution that they have the power to do what's necessary to carry out their functions. There are 435 members in the House of Representatives and 100 members in the Senate. Because of its larger size, the House has a greater number of formal roles. How do the Congress people compare with the citizens? We'll talk about that in just a minute. Some of the perks and privileges. Congress members have permanent professional staffs, congressional caucuses, and they have some privileges and immunities under the law. Here are some of the characteristics that we see in Congress. You see the median age of House and Senate above the median age of the Congress. The minority population of House and Senate, not as much as the U.S. population. Percentage female, you see those numbers, you see family income. Take a few moments when you can to look at this and get a sense of how the House and the Senate, the characteristics match with the U.S. population. Most candidates for Congress win nomination through a direct primary. And most representatives and senators who run for re-election generally are successful. That's what's known as the power of incumbency. Let's talk about apportionment and redistricting. Apportionment is the allocation of legislative seats in the House after each census. That would be reapportionment. One important aspect of drawing district lines is gerrymandering. Let me tell you the difference between reapportionment and redistricting. Reapportionment, as I said, that allocates the seats in the House to each state. That determines how many seats in the House each state gets. Redistricting is the process of redrawing those district boundaries within each state. Reapportionment tells you how many seats each state gets. Redistricting, after you get the census, you'll draw the boundaries of each congressional district to make sure they have a substantially equal number of residents in that district. Gerrymandering, that's how you draw district lines for political advantage. How's Congress organized? Generally through committees. Most of the work of legislating is performed by committees and subcommittees. You see some of the types here, standing committees. They're the most important committees in Congress because all bills are referred to a standing committee in each chamber. You have select committees. They're created to accomplish a particular task. You have joint committees. They're established with members of each chamber serving on that committee. You have conference committees. The role of conference committees is to reach a compromise between different versions of a bill. If the House approves one version of a bill and the Senate approves a different version of the same bill, it will go into a conference committee to see if a compromise can be reached. Use a seniority system to select committee members. We'll talk just a little bit about the leadership in the House. The foremost power holder in the House of Representatives is the Speaker of the House. Foremost power holder in the House of Representatives is the Speaker of the House, elected by the majority party. Right now, the Republicans are a majority in the House, so the Republican is the Speaker is a Republican. Other leaders, you have the House Majority Leader, House Minority Leader. Leadership in the Senate, that rests with the President Pro Tem, it's the head of the Senate, and then each party has its leader in the Senate as well. Budget process for a fiscal year begins with the preparation of an executive budget by the President. It's reviewed by the Office of Management and Budget and then sent to Congress, which is supposed to pass a final budget by the end of September. Fiscal year for the federal government runs from October 31st of one year to September 30th of the next. Take a few moments when you can to go through the budget cycle. This will show you how it's proposed, how the executive branch starts the process, and it works its way through congressional review and approval. That's going to be your video lecture for this week. Please use this lecture and your study guide to help prepare for this week's quiz. Good luck.